page 267. Let's do number 4. Now, in this one, we're going to use either side, 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 or side, angle, side. Don't make up your mind ahead of time which one you're going to try to use. You use whichever one you have the facts to use. Okay? So, like we always do with the proof, let's write down our given. So we're given that segment BA is congruent to segment DC. We're given that angle BAC is congruent to angle DCA. And then we have to prove, we're not proving two triangles are congruent this time. We're proving that segment BC is congruent to segment DA. So write down what you have to prove. I'll give you a second to get all that. Go ahead and draw your figure. And on your figure, let's go ahead and mark what's given. All right, we're given that segment BA is congruent to segment DC. We're given that angle BAC is congruent to angle DCA. Now, if our goal was to prove that those two triangles are congruent, what method would we use? Yeah, this is side angle side set up for us, isn't it? Because we know with the reflexive property that segment AC is congruent to itself. So we'll be able to do this, right? We'll be able to go side, angle, side from one triangle congruent to side, angle, side from the other triangle, and we'll get the congruent triangles. So just for a moment, let's pretend that that's our goal, is to prove those two triangles are congruent. Okay? All right. We start off, statement 1, 99 times out of 100 is the given. So statement 1, segment BA is congruent to segment DC, angle BAC is congruent to angle DCA, given. So you can actually have multiple facts in a statement as long as the reason for every fact is the same. The reason for both of those is given. And while you're writing that down, remember, what can you use as reasons? You can use given information, you can use postulates, you can use theorems, you can use definitions, and you can use properties. Those are the 5 things that you can use as reasons. Those are the only 5 things you can use as reasons. Okay? Now, like we'd planned out, we know that segment AC is congruent to segment AC. The reason we know that's true is the reflexive property. And we actually have enough information now to prove that these two triangles are congruent using side angle side. Now let's be careful and let's make sure, because they didn't tell us in the prove what corresponds to what, so we got to figure it out ourselves. So if I call this triangle BCA, and I could have called it ABC. I don't know why I called it BCA. But I did. I called it BCA. Then we've got to figure out what corresponds to what. So here's angle B right here. Which angle from the other triangle does it correspond to? D. Okay. And then the angle C from the red triangle is this one. It doesn't correspond to the angle C from the blue triangle, does it? It corresponds to which angle? A from the blue one, leaving then angle A from the red one to correspond with angle C from the blue. Everybody see that? Some of you are kind of misty-eyed. That's not the right word. Glass-eyed. Misty-eyed means you're really touched by all the emotion of doing the proof. Not the right word. All right. Now, we've proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that triangle BCA is congruent to triangle DAC. Haven't we? Okay. Now, look what we were supposed to prove. We were supposed to prove that segment BC is congruent to segment DA. Pretend, now you don't have to pretend, but look what you've got here. Now that we have a congruent statement, think 2 days ago. Couldn't we take a congruent statement and write out 6 different pairs of corresponding parts that are congruent? Wouldn't one of those pairs be segment BC congruent to segment DA? That's what we're supposed to prove. So, last step. Segment BC is congruent to segment DA, and this is where the book uses the CPCTC. The reason is corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. We just stated the triangles are congruent. Now we're stating one pair of corresponding parts of those congruent triangles are congruent. Or use definition of congruent triangles. You don't have to write down both reasons. Either reason is perfectly acceptable. They mean the exact same thing. Okay? So either write CPCTC, which is the book's favorite, or write definition of congruent triangles, which is really my preference, but I think I'm in the minority there. The books all tend to go with CPCTC. So either way. Okay? Questions? We good? All right. So on page 266, we'll do 3 through 9, 12 through 19, 21, 22, 24, 30, 31, 34 through 37.